Would you give your kids an allowance?
No.
How much was your allowance?
I think it was like 100 every 2 weeks.
I have like zero concept of money.
I know you don't want your kids to end up like London Tipton.
Can you give me $50 million?
Or if you're a little older, Hillary Banks.
Daddy, I need $500.
I'm all for teaching kids about money at a young age, but the last thing I want to be is a human ATM, handing out cash whenever my future kids want something. That's basically what an allowance is, giving your kid money whether they earned it or not. Even the word allowance gives off the vibe that they're entitled to money. Just cuz. Or am I totally wrong? Am I just jumping the gun? I don't know why that's a saying. Well, we're gonna find out today because I'm going out to interview some other Gen Zers about what they think an allowance is and if they plan on giving their kids one. In this video, I'll also be comparing what a commission system is versus an allowance system. And if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna reveal how much money my parents gave me when I was a kid.
Also, glad you guys are here. My name is JC. I hope you stick around for a few more videos if you care about relationships and finance. It'll also be a huge green flag for me if you hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. And with that, let's go interview these youngins. They're like 4 years younger than me. Would you give your kids an allowance?
No, that's a red flag. I'm sorry, you gotta have them work for their money.
That's definitely a red flag. That's never gonna happen.
Why do you think so?
I wanna choose what they spend their money on.
Honestly, I'd probably say red flag. Even if you are like well off, they should still learn to like build their work ethic.
Giving your future kids an allowance.
I think it's a green flag, completely.
I think that's a green flag, letting them learn how to use their money and buy things that they actually want.
I'd say that's green flag. If you just buy everything for them, then they're not gonna know the value of money.
I say green flag, but they have to have a job too. Like, I can't be the only form of their income.
Giving your future kids an allowance.
I'd say that's a green flag. It teaches them to, work for money.
It sounds like there's a mix of ideas of what the allowance means. Some people think it's a commission, some people don't. And what's your definition of an allowance?
Like money to help you out, like when you need it.
A guaranteed sum of money that you're getting every week or every month.
Even just something like $50 maybe a month.
Money that like kids can spend on luxury stuff.
What's an allowance to you?
I don't know, I don't have one. I work for my money.
Okay, let's backtrack on my first comment here. The last thing I want to be is a human ATM. You shouldn't be stingy with your money, especially with your children, because I don't think there's anything wrong with a surprise gift here or there. And I'm sure I'm going to be very happy being generous to my children. Especially if I have a daughter. Son, not so much. But an automatic payment to your kids every week without them even lifting a finger? It's a little sketchy to me. Sure, it's a good way to introduce them to money and the concept of saving and spending, but you don't introduce them to the concept of earning. Let's head on back to the Gen Zers to see how much their parents gave them.
Did you have an allowance growing up?
No, never.
Did you get an allowance growing up?
I did not. Like, I kind of wish I did because I felt like I would have known more about money when I was older.
Did you get an allowance growing up?
No, but it would help.
Yeah. I did, yeah.
How much was your allowance?
It was $5 a week.
When did they stop doing that?
I guess once I moved out of the house to go to college.
How much was your allowance?
Like $20 a week. I got just $20 a month, and that was for everything from like mowing the lawn to dishes and laundry.
How much was your allowance in high school?
I think it was like 100 every 2 weeks.
Did you get an allowance growing up?
My parents did something more like we'd get a sticker sheet, and if we filled in a certain amount of stickers, we'd get to pick a prize from a prize box.
What's an example of one of the prizes?
The circle things, the spring things, Slinky.
That reminds me of the dentist. Like at the end of the dentist, you have a box. Did you get an allowance growing up?
I did, and I still do. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a green flag for that one.
How much was your allowance?
I don't really have like a number. It was just like, do you want this? Yes, okay.
What was your allowance growing up?
So my dad was always like a store manager growing up, so he literally had like a little whiteboard of our chores all listed. Like we had a job when I was 7, and we had a little allowance where I'd just get like $10.
That one sounds more of like a commission over an allowance.
So I think once my kids are capable of doing basic chores, they'll be old enough to receive a little money doing that. I'd much rather give them a commission over an allowance. A regular allowance won't teach work ethic, but if you give them a commission for doing something, anything, they'll make the connection in their mind that, wow, I earn money as a result of helping, serving, and contributing. You guys should let me know in the comments, what chores did you get paid for as a kid? And please tell me how much you got paid for them.
How did you first get money when you were like 8 to 12 years old even?
We're from Connecticut, it snows, I would shovel the driveways.
Before you got a real job, how did you earn money as a kid?
Mowing lawns, Christmas gifts, birthday gifts.
How did you get money?
Legally, of course. Selling bags of chips and stuff like that.
Did you ever get paid for doing things as a kid?
No.
Doing chores?
No. Well, you have to do chores to live in the house, that's all.
But how old enough is old enough to start working and earning around the house? 4. I could give my 4-year-old like a quarter for putting their toys away, and I'm sure the amount of money you give your kids will grow as they grow as well.
How much would you give your future kids as an allowance?
I have like zero concept of money, so this is bad.
Keep it real, yeah.
I don't know, maybe like 20?
How often?
Maybe like once a week.
What do you think's a good amount of money to give your kids each month?
I like the $20 range just because like that's not enough where like you can like get in like trouble with $20.
So if your future kids, would you give them an allowance?
I'd make them work hard like I did at first, and if they're really like struggling with it and they still don't have enough for like what they need, then yes.
10-year-old kid, how much?
10-year-old kid, I'd say 50 is a good amount, 50 per month.
If your kid can understand that money comes from work at the age of 4, then they're gonna be able to hit the ground running once they get in the real world and start working real jobs.
How did you earn your first dollars?
I got a job at 15 at Chick-fil-A, so.
What was your first ways of earning money?
I've been swimming my whole life, so I got a lifeguard job when I was like 16. Lifeguards pay well.
Since I was 14, I've had a job.
What was your first job? That's crazy.
I worked in an acai bowl place.
If I were to change one thing about my youth, I probably would have gotten a real job while I was in high school. Sure, I did a lot of volunteering and I mowed a ton of lawns for my family's rental properties, but if I had one of those jobs where you had to fill out a W-4, I feel like that would have helped me understand the real world a lot faster. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys are currently getting out of debt, I have videos about that. And if you care about relationships and how to talk about money in your family or to your significant other, click on one of the red flag videos because we dive into those.